Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Technology Bytes brought to you by Cloud Solutions Academy. I'm Naveen Balani. In this week's episode, we're talking about what are cloud native applications and how technology has been evolved over the last 2 decades. So let's get started. So, what is cloud native technology? In order to understand cloud native technology, let's look at how the software development and deployment process has been evolved over the years. Let's take an example of a banking application which hopefully everybody can relate to. So we have a banking system which offers various functions like login and authentication to the banking application through a web or a mobile browser, viewing account statements, latest as well as historical records, wire transfer of money within banks or to other accounts outside the bank using various payments and settlement methods, for instance NEFT, IMPS for an Indian payment system, or SWIFT for international money transfer. There can be a host of other functionality, but let's concentrate on these business functions. Initially, the first generation of applications had all of these functionality tightly coupled as part of one big monolith application. Then came modularization and concept of web services in probably 2001-2002 timeframe, where application functionality like logging, viewing account details, wire transfer were being designed as interoperable services which can be called by any clients using standards like XML and SOAP as the protocol format and using WSDL to publish the metadata. Although web services and XML were flexible and interoperable, there were few design considerations like document style versus RPC style communication and how WSDL can be mapped to service implementation. If you want to know more details, please check out my blogs from 2001-2002 timeframe which talks about these approaches. The links are mentioned in the description section of this YouTube video. Now with early modularization and services, there were a host of technologies being created and adapted to support this new architecture style, from middleware solutions, dependency injection frameworks, and for orchestration services using format like Beeple. Now in 2010-2011 timeframe came another design architecture called microservices, which went a step further to break down applications into more smaller, loosely coupled independent services exposed as APIs, which can be ideally built and managed independently and use much lighter message formats like JavaScript object notation and REST protocol, which were more standardized as they follow the regular HTTP methods. At the same time, we had cloud gaining momentum, primarily the compute instances and managed services, which allowed you to spin instances and scale based on runtime workloads. While microservices and cloud did solve the problem of design and scalability to some extent, one fundamental problem still existed on managing all the code dependencies, versions across environments, and rolling out code in a consistent way and scaling each of the microservices. So that's where the container technology came in, primarily with Docker technology, which packages all the required dependencies and lets software application be abstracted from base runtime environment, allowing you to build applications that can be deployed on any operating environment that provides container management platform. So basically, this approach gave the developers the flexibility to build microservices in any programming language and package them as independent deployable units using containers and exposing the functionality through well-defined APIs. Container management platforms are available on all operating platforms, be it Windows, Mac, Linux, and all cloud providers provide managed services for running the containers. Hence, container became the de facto choice to run software application in a consistent way across all the environments. So with containers, you can package, deploy and scale microservices. For instance, you can have 20 instances of user login microservice application, 10 instances of the payment system, and probably 2 instances of historical account statements as they are sparingly used. And all these microservices can start small and scale based on actual workloads using container management platform like Kubernetes offered by the cloud vendors. Now once you have containers and microservices, the last piece was building a pipeline that can continuously test out the code changes and roll out versions of the container in a consistent way to development or production environments. That's where continuous integration and continuous delivery came into play, and tools like Jenkins and GitHub were used to build out these processes. So CI/CD came under the DevOps umbrella, where there was a tighter integration required between developers and operation team to build, test and deploy code in an automated and consistent way to improve the agility and roll out new versions quickly and bring in observability through logs and metrics like API latency, CPU utilization, and use the feedback to continuously improve either the code or optimize the infrastructure and services and bring in more agility to the overall process. So where does cloud native fits in? So cloud native is basically a methodology where you can build application once and deploy it in any cloud environment, be it a single cloud, multi-cloud, hybrid or edge cloud, or for that matter any environment, in a consistent way that can be scaled independently, measured and continuously optimized. And the combination of technologies like microservices, containers and DevOps plays a key role in achieving cloud native applications. So this concludes our session on cloud native applications. Hope you found the information useful, and please do subscribe to the channel to receive regular updates. Till then, have a great week and happy learning.